Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Mara Albert, a double diamond associate with Max International. I'm so excited today that I'm doing this presentation. I'm sure you must have been watching the presentations on the 7 skills of building an amazing mass business. You must have watched the first skill, which is on finding prospects and building your list. The second skill, which is inviting. The third skill, which is presenting. And today, I'm taking you on the skill number 4, which is follow up. In mass business, the fortune is follow up. Follow up is very, very important. But funny enough, a lot of associates, they don't follow up their prospects. Do you have an idea the kind of work you have done? You have educated them, you have exposed them to what we have, and they're now waiting to make a decision, but you are nowhere to be found. Even those that follow up, they don't follow up long enough for them to close the prospects. What will happen at the end of the day is that another person will go and reap where you have sown because you're nowhere to be found. But I'm happy because I know that by the end of this presentation, you will learn how to close your prospect like a pro. And not only that, you're also going to learn how to handle some objections. So, let's start this way. There are some things I want you to know about this process that you want to follow up. It's true that I have exposed them to this amazing opportunity. To some, it's a very new area for them. They have never done anything like this in their life. So they're still considering. They're still looking at it. They might still have 1 or 2 questions in their mind. They're about taking a decision. But to some, maybe they've been in this kind of industry and they had a very nasty experience. Experience that they don't even want to remember. But just because that what you have is so unique and so special, and they are making a consideration, they are showing it and they're about taking a decision. So as you're following them up, I want you to have this at the back of your mind. But some of them are ready. They want to start as in immediately. So you close them up. But some are still considering. So you keep exposing them. You keep exposing them. You will need about 4 to 6 exposures for some of them to say yes. For some of them to close it up. You might need about 4 to 6 exposures. So what are these exposures? It's an opportunity to further educate them on this amazing thing that we have. And any exposure that you are having is an opportunity for you to reschedule another exposure if you didn't close up in that particular exposure. Let's take, for instance, maybe a woman that is married. You have shown her everything. You have presented. You're now following up. She might tell you, oh, you know what? I want to go home and discuss this with my husband. Don't allow her to have that discussion with her husband. You will not be the one, because if you allow her to go and have that discussion, you might not present it the way you presented it. She might not say it the way you said it. She might not even say it in such a way that the husband will appreciate what you said. So what do? In this case, you will not use that our formula. If I send a video to you, or if I send you a link that has everything about what I have just told you now, will you show it to your husband? She will say, oh, yes. So by the time she said yes, she'll say, okay, when do I send it to you? And when do you look at it? She might tell you when to send it to her. So what you will not tell her is that you can even start sending it immediately, because she will say send it. But the question is, when are you people going to look at it? By the time you get that, to put it down and then make sure that you call them back to follow up on them. You see, you have scheduled another exposure. So by the time they are done, you are following up on them. But don't say, okay, let me talk to your husband. No, let her go back and discuss with her husband, because not discussing what you have discussed, but now showing him the video, showing him the link, showing him the opportunity, using the tools that we have mentioned before. during the course of this series. That's amazing. I also want us to look at handling objections. People will give you a lot of reasons why they don't want to do it now. Some will say, I don't have money. Some will say, I don't know how to talk to people. Some will tell you, oh, I don't think I can do it now. Some will tell you so many things. Some will say, I want to pray about it. A lot of excuses. But all these things, we can actually categorize them into two. Number one is the limiting belief about the person. About the person. And the second one is limiting belief about the industry. That's the network marketing. We're going to talk about that one, about this network marketing. Because during the course of our self-development, we discovered that they are not necessarily two words. They are two separate words. Networking is different from marketing. The networking deals with the individual, with people, with human beings, while the marketing deals with the product and the company that we represent. But that one is going to be a different presentation altogether. So let's come back to what we are talking about. There are 4 steps in handling objection. No matter what the person is telling you, if you can use these 4 steps, you will find out that you will be able to close that person, especially those that are willing. Because some might tell you they don't want, no matter what you do, no matter how you try to handle the objection, they are not interested. So you leave them. You're not leaving them totally. Once in a while, you also send them stuff. You also send them things. You also communicate. You also ask them, how are you doing? Because at that point, maybe when you met them, they're saying no. They have not considered it. But along the line, something might make them to change their mind. So that's why they are not going to leave them entirely. So these 4 steps that I want to share with you today is going to help you a great deal when it comes to handling any form of objection. Number 1 is to listen. When the person is talking, you listen very attentively. Listen long enough for you to understand what the person is actually saying. You can even ask the person some questions as you're listening while the person is talking. The person might say, I don't have money. You ask the person, what do you mean that you don't have money? You have to understand what the person meant by I don't have money. Because that I don't have money might mean a lot of things. So you have to get that clarification. What does it really mean that he doesn't have the money? Is it that he doesn't have the money to start, or that the budget he has now is not for this? So you have to know that. Then apart from listening to the person, you also have to relate with the person. Some people will tell you, oh, I don't even know how this thing is done. Just say, yes, it's true. I can feel you. I know. Even when I started, I didn't even know how it works. Some might tell you, I don't even have the money. You say, yes, it's true. A lot of things to do with money. I understand you are being paid every month. But this money, you use it and do this, you do that. By the time you know it, everything will be gone. But I think extra, it will be good to have extra. You just put it that, you have related with that person. So the person is not alone. The person is not just there and you are there. You're trying to bridge the gap. You're not relating with the person. Yes, I understand I agree with you. I understand what you're saying. Then as you're now telling the person, you can now tell a story. You might say, oh, that when I was exposed to this opportunity, I didn't really have the money. But for the fact that this thing is something that must be done, I've looked at my finances, I've looked at my life. If I continue like this in the next 10 years, if I don't change anything, will anything change? So, you're telling the person a story. You're telling the person your story now. And at the end of the day, I said, no, I have to decide. I have to make a decision. What did I do? I looked for the money. And I started. And today I'm happy because I can meet my needs. And not only that, it's like the thing is growing by the day. It's getting better by the day. Do you see what you're doing? You're telling your story. And as you're telling this story, you're connecting with this person. And as you're connecting with this person, you can now ask that person the question. If I show you what I did for me to get to the stage I am now, will you want to look at it? You see, the person will say, why not? And by the time you now introduce the person to what we have, You can either point to the person like what you had said initially. You can point the person to a third party, or you can expose the person to the tools we have, maybe our videos, maybe the testimonies, or maybe the write-up. By the time you do that, the person will be like, at the end of the day, the person is there and the person has joined you. So thank you so very much for listening. I know that these skills, they're going to help you to build an amazing mass business. And I can't wait to see you there at the top. I know that you're getting there. Crown awaits you. Congratulations.